What's up, everyone? It's Legion X Gaming back with another worst top 5, well, another top 5 operators list, but for this one we're going to be talking about the 5 worst attacking operators in Rainbow Six Siege. Now let me start off by saying, do not hate me if you see your favorite operator on here. Do not hate me if you disagree, because this list was actually very difficult to make. I had to look through all the operators. I had to think about where they were used, how they were used, and if they were even used in the current meta. I started to think more about the operators and how they were used in the higher leagues as opposed to the lower leagues, just because I feel like the higher leagues kind of know more about the game. An operator like Blitz might be used a bunch in gold or silver, but he's not really used a lot in plat and diamond. So keep that in mind when I'm making this list. Also, like I said, very hard to make this list. A lot of these operators actually aren't that bad, but in my opinion, they are some of the worst operators in a group of a bunch of great operators. A lot of these operators are actually very balanced in Rainbow Six Siege, so very hard list to make, very difficult, but I think I got it down pretty well. If you agree, don't forget to let me know in the comments. If you disagree, don't forget to let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, guys, share the video with your friends. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. Coming in at the number 5 spot for the worst attacker is Blitz. Now let me just start off by saying that I show a bunch of highlights from all these operators in every clip, and that's because I also wanted to show that any operator can really be good if used properly by the right player in the right situations. With that being said, I still believe that these operators have a lot of weaknesses. Blitz, for example, is not a terrible operator by any means, but in the higher ranks like plat and diamond, he does become a lot less effective. Back when I used to play this game and I was a silver, gold, all that stuff, Blitz was undoubtedly my favorite operator. I still think I have some of the most hours with him than any operator I have right now. So you can only imagine how much I used to use him. I used to love this guy. But that was because back then players weren't really as skilled and they were still pretty brand new to the game. It was hard for them to focus shooting at his feet or his arm or his head even when he started to shoot back at them. Their main focus was shooting at the mass of the body, which was covered by the shield. So therefore he was super effective back then. Now in plat, in diamond, it is so much harder because the same players are far more accurate with their weapons. They can easily shoot your feet, they can easily shoot your arm, they will easily shoot your head as soon as you put down that shield. It's also really weird because even when somebody's standing right in front of me and I hit his flash ability, it sometimes seems as if these players are just that good that they can still kill you while they're flashed. Either that or the flash isn't really working as well as I wish it would, because they can still see. The worst part is you don't even know if they were flashed from watching the kill cam. Either these players are really good to the point where they can just hear you and shoot at you and kill you, or Blitz just isn't that great up here, guys. Regardless, Blitz comes in at number 5 spot, good operator, but still not as effective as the other ops. Blackbeard comes in at number 4. Now, when I was choosing Blackbeard, I was kind of hesitant as to whether to put him at number 5 where Blitz was or number 4. Ultimately, I decided that Blitz was just a little better in certain circumstances. Blackbeard I have found to be super ineffective for the most part, except in situations such as these, where you're hanging from windows. Now, when you're hanging from windows and you're a Blackbeard, you're an absolute nightmare for the most part. But his gun is absolutely atrocious. I just don't like either of his guns at all. It runs out of ammo very quickly. There's what, 21 bullets in his magazine? Now, check this out, alright? I downed that dog, and most guns reload automatically. I don't know why Blackbeard's doesn't. I stared at that dog and watched him get up, thinking that my gun would kind of just automatically reload, but no, I had to click X. Now, I don't know if I'm tripping out. I don't know if that's the thing. I don't know if I've always pushed X and for some reason I just didn't do it this time, but for some reason, Blackbeard's gun didn't reload, and I had to kill that dog later. So, ultimately, Blackbeard does feel really good when it comes to windows, but I hate operators that have to work in specific situations. Like Blackbeard, he has to work when he's on a window, when they're in like a top floor for the most part, so that you can be rappelling from a certain point of view that they won't see you from. So any operators that need specific situations to work, I feel like aren't that effective, especially in a game where a bunch of operators are actually really effective in different types of circumstances and can adapt to whatever changes. Just the most part I didn't like about him was how sluggish he felt with his shield, and especially his gun and how many bullets there are in the chamber. Apart from that, he's not a terrible operator. Like I said, just not as good as the rest. Coming in at the 3rd spot is Nook. Now, my emotions are really mixed about Nook, especially considering that when she first came out, I actually really enjoyed playing her. Her weapons though, let me just start off by talking about those weapons. Those weapons are absolutely terrible weapons. The FMG is available to smoke, I believe, and I've never once seen a smoke player use it. And that shotgun I also believe belongs to Ying and Legion, whom I've also never ever seen anybody use with, and they give them both to Nook, expecting people to use one or the other, and that's just terrible. That's a terrible thing to do to a new operator, especially one that looks as cool and mysterious as Nook. She's basically Vigil but on attack, and to a far less effective degree. If you think about it, Vigil only pretty much has to hide from drones, as he's a defender, and the attacker's only real source of intel from cameras are pretty much drones, unless you become a Dokkaebi and you hack cameras. But Nook is far less effective, considering the fact that she has to try to hide from not only Mozzie cams, not only the default cams, Valkyr cams, Maestro cams, bulletproof cams, echo drones, and all that type of stuff. She has to try to avoid all that when her ability just doesn't last as long, and it just feels like she has to try to avoid more, which puts a lot less focus on trying to kill. And how can you kill when these are her guns? Although she has two very terrible guns, I do enjoy rushing with Nook with her shotgun. Her shotgun is terribly inaccurate, or maybe I just have terrible aim, don't tell me that please. But I do like rushing, they don't expect it, and with one use of her ability you can avoid the very first set of cams, just get into the OBJ, get in there, kill as many people as possible from the close range with the shotgun, and hopefully do enough impact to win the round for your team. Entering number 2, we have Fuse. Now Fuse is a little weird of a relationship for me. He has the LMG that Finka uses, and I love that LMG. However, even though Zen put Finka and Ying in his top 5 worst attacking video, which pretty much goes to show how different people's opinions can vary and how situational a lot of these operators are, because I put them both in my top 5 attacking video. I hate you, Zen, please don't ever call me out like that. I believe that Fuse is actually not too bad, but I hate his ability. Number 1, you saw right there, I just destroyed a bunch of my team's gadgets. I might have killed even a teammate or two at one point. I don't even know. Although he has 2 very good weapons and even his shield is pretty good, I don't like his ability that much, guys, because his ability puts him right here. You can see I'm absolutely vulnerable to anybody, and if you hear well, if you've got great audio sense, you will be able to know that they're placing a fuse above you. You will be able to move, you will be able to run. It's pretty easy to avoid. In my opinion, one of the best ways to use fuse is vertically, meaning you're gonna have to clear out the top floor from wherever they are, and if they are on the top floor, it's gonna be kind of difficult. Maybe a window around there could work, but you can see this here also. I place my drone, I'm like, okay, there's somebody right there. I don't want to ping them so that they don't move. I believe they're right around here. I place my fuse down. Again, I'm vulnerable to a lot of things, to an operator who's up there. Place it down, and the only thing I'm destroying is my drone. Thank you so much, Fuse, for your effectiveness. Here though, however, I do place it here. I just give up trying to even peek. I just place it in a random spot and get a kill, thankfully, to make me feel a little bit better about myself. But Fuse's vulnerability while using his ability, as well as his chaotic ability, just makes me put him this much lower. At number 1, there's no surprise, it is Glaz. I actually pronounce it Glaze as a meme. It sounds like Glazed donut, so if I say that, guys, please don't kill me. But Glaz used to be a 100% killer operator. He was my favorite attacker for such a long time, and I think if you look at my stats on the R6 tracker, you'll see that I still have a lot more hours with Glaz than a lot of other operators. Now let's talk about his weapon and his ability. His weapon, with this type of caliber weapon, I believe anybody should die in 2, max 3 shots. Here, I shot Rook's feet about 3 times. I don't care if it's his feet. I don't care if it's his little toe. He should have died. I shouldn't have had to move more into a place where that Rook could have headshotted me in order to kill him. The worst part about his ability is they've ruined it. I don't know what they were thinking. They've turned him into Tachanka for attack. As you can see there, I was sitting still so that the ability of his thermal scope would go into effect, and that Vigil, I know it's a joke, just ran up and killed me like I was nothing. I was literally a sitting duck. Now when I say that they turned Glaz into the Tachanka of attack, I really mean it. If you think about it, Tachanka has never worked in Siege for one purpose and one purpose only. His whole ability is to sit still on a turret while everybody moves around him, while people gain intel on where he is, while people know how to pinpoint and counter and kill him easily. They've turned Glaz into that by forcing him to sit still for his thermal scope to take effect. His really only good side is his smoke grenades, guys, and I really 100% mean that. Everything else about Glaz is terrible. His gun doesn't seem to kill people when it's that strong. His thermal scope doesn't seem to work unless you're standing still, and that's the whole point that Ubisoft has done to him, and I think that's a terrible idea. His secondary is just a regular secondary, and his smokes are literally the only bright spot. And even then, you have to sit still with this thermal and hope that they don't just shoot you through the smoke for standing still for it to take effect and for you to work with the smoke. As you can see, I was standing there to let his thermal take effect, and I was killed once again. Well guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I really hope you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like on the video. It really helps me out a lot, and I appreciate it, of course. Don't forget to comment down. Tell me why you disagree. I know some of you are going to disagree. You're going to tell me, why is Blitz on here? Why is Blackbeard on here? Why is Glaz on here? Are you explicit of word? Are you harsher explicit of word? I get it. I know there will always be disagreements, so let me know why you disagree and why these operators are actually very good. With that being said, I will see you guys in next week's video for the 5 worst defenders. Alright, I'm pretty sure you guys can already guess some of those, and don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate all of you, and with that being said, I will see you all next week. Until then, Legion X out.